it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior Live. I'll be your host today. Please put in the chat where you're from and who you are. When we start reviewing the news articles, if you want to look at our Facebook page, just click here and you can follow the articles along as we go. See you in a moment. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Ron Brown. I'll be your host today. This is Tech for Senior Live, and we're here to talk about the news of the week. I want to welcome everybody. Want to thank you for coming. If you are watching this on YouTube or Facebook, thank you for coming. If you are watching this as a replay, thank you again. And if you're watching this as a YouTube short, just click the link and it'll take you right to the show. Now, those of you I see over, you're wondering who we are. Well, we are a group of seniors who like to talk technology, and we have a Monday show, which is we've been doing now for 4 years. But the Monday show is a Zoom meeting. And I see that as I look over on my other screen here, there's some people logging into our Zoom account to hopefully come to the meeting today. So guess what? We'll see you Monday because it's not a Zoom meeting. It is. We broadcast this out through StreamYard, and it goes to our YouTube feed, and it goes to our Facebook. So if you are interested in coming and listening to the show today, this is our website, www.techforsenior.com. If you go there, there's a big button that says take you to the show, and that'll take you to one of the two feeds that we have. And if you are interested in following along the news articles that we'll be talking about today, this is our Facebook page, and you can pop over there, and we'll be going over a little bit later on in the show after I introduce everyone. We'll be going through the various news articles that we have posted. And we have a lot of really great articles today. So we'll be with you for the next hour. We're going to have a lot of fun, drink some coffee. I got some coffee here. Just a minute here. It's got my Google. This is an official Google mug that someone brought me back as a present. And Bob's got is a vast. Huey, what have you got that's official? there you go. There you go. All right. So we're gonna talk. I'll introduce everybody in just a minute. But so that's what we're gonna do today. We have and of course this is being recorded, not taped. Remember, guys, I said not taped. This is being recorded, and it'll be out as soon as we finish the show.
You're going to get a star on your report card for that.
They give me a hard time about saying taped, but I'm an old guy.
Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
Exactly. I can learn, honestly. It takes a while, but I can learn. And so we're going to record this, and it'll be on our YouTube channel as soon as we
learned Bernard, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So yes, so let me but before I introduce everyone, I think it's important that we have no idea who's listening, right? We could just be talking to ourselves. In our Zoom meeting on Monday, we can actually see everyone, but we don't know who's listening. So if you'd be so kind as to put your name in the chat and maybe where you're from, what the weather's like. And if you are new, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a heads up on I'm new, I'm just starting, because we'll give you the big welcome clap and thank you for coming. We're always anxious to meet new people. And also, if you have a question about any technology or anything we're saying, please put it in the chat. We'll certainly answer it. We may not give you the right answer, but we certainly have lots of opinions, right? So we'll certainly give you an opinion on that. So
we can do it as well as Chat GPT.
Exactly. We can make up stuff just
the right information.
We can make it up as fast as Chat GPT can, right? There you go. So we're going to do that. So if you want to put your name, what's happening, and so on and so forth into the chat, that would be great. All right, let's. We have got together a cast of international experts who are going to talk today about all the news that we're going to talk about today. These are learned people in their field. And I'm going to introduce everyone now. And I'm going to start with, of course, my co-host on Monday, the very learned, very popular man who we're looking down from looks like we're looking, beaming down the satellite image from him, Mr. Huey Popluck. Welcome, Huey.
Hello. Yeah, I'm trying a new camera. And it's a wide angle camera, and I'm having trouble with that. Plus, it's just on top of the monitor, and it's looking down at me. And I tried, you can actually turn the picture upside down. So I tried putting it at the bottom, and that I can't find a way to set it up. So I'll play with this camera, but I think it's a pretty good picture.
Yeah, it is. Look up at us. Wave at us. Look up and wave. There you go. We can see you. There you go. Excellent. All right. And of course, our security expert from our Monday show, who's been with us right since the start. And he is a tough guy, but a really nice guy. And not only does he talk about security, but he makes videos on every single topic that you could possibly imagine about technology and even more. So he's very prolific in his video creation. A great person. He's been on our show for right since the inception of it. Mr. Bob Gostisha.
Good morning. It is still morning well, it could be noon depending on where you are.
Right, exactly. So how's your week going?
Good. We've been fairly cool. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be warm by now, but right now we're at 73. We were in the 50s during the night. That's not usually the way it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
But it's a pleasant surprise.
All right. And then, of course, we have Mr. Bill James from Oklahoma City. Now, Bill, of course, is we call him a gadget guy because he writes a article in our Tuesday newsletter. And if you haven't subscribed to our Tuesday newsletter, it's something you might consider. Yeah, you can just go to www.techforsenior.com. It's free. We don't sell any advertising. We don't sell your email list. We just provide some good stuff for you to read twice a week. And one of them is Bill's article on tech gadgets. And now he went a little overboard last Tuesday because he sent out this one on robotic lawnmowers. So I thought I'm going to buy one, right? And I said to my wife, I said, hey, Bill recommended this robotic because I have a lot of robotic vacuums, right? So she says, yeah, okay, you can get one. And I went on Amazon and clicked the link. It was $7,500. She's now banned me from reading Bill's articles, right? She said, you don't want that man's crazy. You're not going to buy a $7,000. So anyway, Bill, you got it. I like the popcorn popper one for $19.95. That was a good idea, but
I'm going to tone it down.
Anyway,
but I get so it goes. The interest more is just the tech that's involved, and I get fascinated by that, and so I just go wild. But
and Bill also is he speaks many languages. He of course talks. He does Windows tips on our show, and he's an expert on Windows. He teaches a lot about Windows. But he also teaches Mac too, and he does Mac tips. So he's such a smart guy. We're so honored to have you in our presence.
Oh, I'm flattered, but I'm actually just learning all of this.
Well, you're a very good instructor.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I
So
enjoy it. It
yeah,
keeps me my mind occupied. So.
exactly. All right, Huey, is there anybody listening to us out there today?
Nope, not a person.
Not a person. Well, okay.
Oh, there's Jolene.
Oh, John's here. Great. John, of course, is a good friend of ours. She's a tireless worker for their computer club at the Low Country of South Carolina. She's she's been doing this for many years. She actually works every single day. She works hard doing tech support for seniors and people who need help with their club. She's very knowledgeable person and also helps us with our Learning Chromebook series. So welcome, Jolyn. That's great. Hi, all. Great. And Bernard from Sterling Heights Computer Club in Detroit, Michigan. Steve Powell, Kirkland, Washington, 55 degrees and overcast. Yeah, it's a bit cool today.
Yeah, it is here too. It's 90. It's going to 92.
Yeah, you guys. John says, oh, no, Bob. There he is.
I ducked out to fill up his coffee cup and didn't quite get back in time.
John says, and then, there he is. There you go. Mike Ungerman. Mike Ungerman, of course, is a regular on our show on Monday. He's been doing a very popular series on EV cars, which we will continue with. And he did solar panels for your home. Prior to that, he's a techie, gadgety guy and a great friend of ours, very knowledgeable and does some great presentations on our Monday show. Welcome. Half a day of sun to charge my... Yeah, he always has smiles on his face because he never pays for gas. He just plugs his car in and the solar energies make those little electrons flow down into the gas tank and fills it up. So Gerald Smith says West Seattle, 54 degrees and overcast. Ed says mostly sunny, 72 degrees in central New Jersey. Jolyn, Ron learned a matter of opinion, perhaps.
Learn it. Those are the people that actually look at instructions. I'm not one of those people. I like to make my own mistakes.
Well, instruction manuals I haven't read. I find a YouTube video on it. I just don't like reading instruction manuals. Everything, there's a YouTube video on everything, right? So you just watch it, unboxing or whatever you want. You want an instruction manual, they'll tell you how to do things. So
see, I try it on my own, and then when it doesn't work, then I give the instructions to my wife so she can straighten.
Yeah, then she figures out. She reads the manual and figures it out, right? I think it's a guy thing. I don't think guys like manuals. I don't know what it is with that. I think it's a gender thing. Bob says Bellevue, Washington, heading for only 72 degrees. Clark says Clark Walker, 72 degrees sunny, heading towards 80 degrees in Trenton, New Jersey. Sally from Kirkland, Washington, expecting lots of rain. Really? Are we going to get some rain?
Send some here to Bradenton.
Yeah. And Jolyn says, yep, I enjoy following along on Facebook as well as watching you on YouTube. Stan Wallner, someone you know well, Huey.
Yep.
Hot and sunny in Orlando. Jolyn, RTFM, a rule to remember.
Absolutely.
Read the fine manual.
Yeah.
See, I think it's a gender thing. Okay, I guess if I got that, still got our Facebook thing up there.
Yeah.
Take that off. All right. So that's who's listening so far, and we are who we are. So let's get on with some of the articles we're going to talk about today. The first one.
Won't we have a discussion?
We do. We're going to talk about that. The first thing we're going to talk about is an article that came out this week, and it was called "How Can Android Catch Up with iPhone in the U.S.?" And so I thought that was an interesting article. Now, what I always tell everyone, particularly on our show, is that we have to remember that 57% of people in the United States own iPhones. And that is so when we're talking to an audience, And Chris Gould did a show recently, and we polled everyone. Remember that? We polled everyone, and over 50% had iPhones. Now, this is interesting. What Apple is doing right. According to some estimates, Apple has a market share of 57% in the US, with its strongest competitors, Samsung, holding only about 30%. Indeed, iOS has more users in the US than Android, and there are a few reasons why Android might continue to struggle to catch up. So I thought that was an interesting article. And when we talked about this a year ago, it was 52%. So Apple is actually gaining in the United States. Now that's different because if you look at other parts of the world and you go and you look at Europe, for example, it's 25 to 30% is iPhones, but there's something in the United States that they love the iPhone, and it's getting more common than Android. And I thought, okay, well, what's the reason for this? And the article goes on, and we're going to talk about what those reasons are. I thought you guys, do you have any comments on that? Do you have any thoughts on it?
Well, I always thought it was just more peer pressure that I don't think I've never really noticed that big a difference between an iPhone and an Android in a lot of respects. But I think most people, when you think cell phone, I think people immediately think of iPhone.
That's right. That's right. So let's see what the article says. So the first thing is, and so Apple has improved its model variety to suit different needs and budgets. Android still wears the crown for hardware variety and cost. So Apple has made it more easy and have brought out different models like the SE model so that it isn't as costly as it used to be. So they're giving they're giving a bigger variety of choices now. And that's one of the things that I think that they've made a change in the last few years, right? We always talk about the $1,800 or $1,600 iPhone, but in fact they have the SE model, which is a lot less. So lots of different models and choices with Apple. But of course, with Android, we have a bigger variety of choices as far as cost goes, right?
Yep. I think it's a status symbol too.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's go on and see. So the next thing it says, emphasize app security and quality. Many developers agree that launching an app on an Apple phone can be tedious, but there is a good reason. The company has employees working in a division called App Review that reviews all apps, update bundles, in-app purchases, but along with the permissions required to use said apps. Now, that's quite different than in the Android store, and Bob does lots of talks on this. You just wrote an article about don't sideload those apps, right, in Android, and also that each year the Play Store is inundated with a lot of apps that have malicious software in there. So if you're looking at, so what do you think, Bob? I mean, Android, Apple, I mean, isn't it safer on Apple?
Yes, I have to admit it is a safer platform. And with for the Android devices, not only do you have people that sideload apps, which is a bad thing to do, but even those that are in the store, we just went through it, where the app was perfectly safe for a year, and then an update happens, and all of a sudden, that safe app now becomes a malicious app. So careful. I don't think that would happen on the iPhone.
Right. All right. So that's one of the big features that people like.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other big feature, exclusive features for operating systems, are paramount for attracting and maintaining users. iMessage is an example of an app that keeps users in the Apple ecosystem. Google answers to iMessage might be RCS, but it's not going to be enough to have it to compete. So the Android side is trying to get RCS approved. RCS has improved chat features, cross-platform compatibility, but better security, but there's still room for improvement. So people who are all using the iPhone, which is almost 60% of people in the United States, all use the Apple messaging system, which is not compatible with Android, right? So I mean, people who use WhatsApp and other apps, that's different, but so that's one of the big things, is that people might buy it because of uh conductivity with other people that have iPhones, right? Like I know
Ronnie,
Well,
is
I'm
there a
not so sure
breakdown
about
on
that.
is there a breakdown on age as to ownership between Apple and Android devices as to
what, yeah.
Well, what I was going to say was I have a relative who is maybe 20 years younger than I am, but we communicate between, he uses an iPhone, but I receive his text messages on my Android.
Yeah, text messages, but we're talking about chat. We're talking about
Oh,
chat. Yeah, we're
chat.
talking about chat. So I guess when I want to talk to so I own I've told everyone this story before, but I own an iPad, right? And the only reason I bought an iPad was because my daughter in Australia said, if you want to talk to me, you got to do it, through your iPad, and they're all in with Apple. So I mean, that's just life, right? so it is what it is, but the chat feature is definitely.
So, Ron, what chat app are they using? I mean, I guess I'm kind of behind on that.
It's exclusive feature to it's basically iMessage.
So there's no
FaceTime,
equivalent.
isn't it?
No, FaceTime's
No,
Facebook.
there's
Okay.
no equivalent of that on an Android.
They have a chat.
they
They
had
have their chat system.
yeah.
Yeah,
Used to be Duo on the
right.
Android device, which of course now is part of the
You know,
meeting.
that's equivalent to the FaceTime, but I'm talking about as far as doing a chat.
Yeah. Well, they have a chat, so they of course Google's gone through this massive change, and they're always changing their chat and
Well,
trying
the
to
only
make.
thing, I do use like uh, I can't remember what it's called. It's called uh,
Oh, well, you're thinking about that. Sorry, Jolin, you're right. Sorry, Huey, you're right. FaceTime is Apple. You're right. You're always right. How come you're always right?
Well, I was wrong once. That's because I thought I was wrong and I was really right.
So, Bill, this is the article was push RCS to beat iMessage. You see, RCS is Android, and iMessage, of course, is Apple, and the two just don't mix. So there's certainly that, and so I wonder if people buy Apple for communication because it's easier to communicate with other Apple devices. That's all. That's all we're looking at there.
And I also think seniors buy it because their kids or grandkids use it, like
I would
you,
agree with that.
Right.
Yeah.
and so that's who they rely on for their tech support, and they want to be able to talk the same language. So.
And then, of course, I'm sorry this didn't come out very good, but centralized and better customer service. I guess that comes up with if you're dealing with an Apple device or product, then you're talking to Apple, which is basically the same company, right? But if you have Android, you could have one of several thousand different companies that are making these devices. Now, that could be a good thing if you have really good support from one device and not from another. But I guess but it also offers more flexibility because you have more choice, right? But certainly that's there. Mike says we FaceTime with our great granddaughter on my wife's Apple iPhone 8. She calls almost every day. 3 years old. Yeah. Right. So that's interesting. Now, what was the other thing? Yeah, there we are. Centralized, and then the last thing was, can Android can catch up to iOS. Android is a fragmented operating system and needs work in quite a few areas. Google should look to polish the OS, improve app security and quality, find find ways to spread the use of RCS, and work with manufacturers to centralize customer support. That was the final part of the article. So anyway,
can I add something to this mix?
Yeah, go ahead.
I asked Bard this because I know that it exists. As of 2023, there's approximately 25 million people in the United States who still pay a monthly fee for a POTS, plain old telephone service, phone. This number is expected to continue to decline as more people switch to wireless or VoIP services. There are a number of reasons why people still pay a monthly fee for a POTS phone. Some people prefer the reliability and security of a traditional landline. Others may live in areas where wireless or VoIP service is not available or reliable, and still others may simply be reluctant to change their habits. But 25 million still pay that monthly rent that we used to do for our phone.
Huey, have we got any comments or questions before we get to the article?
Let's.
I guess the application I was talking about is called WhatsApp, and that's an application
right
that most people use on their Androids to do the chat thing.
It also works on WhatsApp. Also works on Apple as well.
Apple as well, yeah.
Well, Chris and Jim Gould are listening. Well, or Chris or Jim. I'm not sure which one or both. Or how many are still paying for AOL? Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yep.
Don't do that. Jolin says, I sure do hope Apple will adopt the RCS mode. It's ridiculous that we cannot. That's right. Jolin, you're right. That's exactly it. But I don't think that's going to happen because that's just helping promote Apple, right? And that's why they keep going up. So very interesting.
But now she's using the term text. I thought we weren't talking about that.
No, I guess that's so you're right. No, you're right.
Let's see.
Okay. Steve says iPhone is considered medical grade. Android isn't.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get Steve says, what's the iPhone percentage in Canada? I don't know, Steve. I don't know the answer to that. I would think probably it's similar. But I don't know the answer to that. It's a good question. I didn't have those figures. Let's go over and look at our articles now. And
which means open up Facebook.
That's right. And we'll share our screen.
Do a refresh to make sure we catch everybody's.
Oh, you just want to be first, don't you? All right, let me just see here. I want to just get this a little bit up, get this a bit bigger. And we'll do a refresh, make sure we got everybody in order. There's a prize for being first, right? Getting the first article. All right, let's come down here and see. Oh, Bob, what the heck? You got the first article.
And I posted that quite some time ago.
All right.
AI at work again. Become a birthday superhero. And I created a card using it. And it was easy to do. I didn't have to sign up. I didn't have to do anything. Just went to the link and I made up a birthday card.
And you didn't have to pay. My wife always goes to the store and buys one for $5, and you didn't have to
pay, didn't have to sign up, didn't have to do anything.
Oh, that's cool. And what is it called? It's called Birth DAI. Oh, Birth.
Yeah,
I
birth,
see Birth
birthday,
DAI,
but with an I, not a Y card.
Oh, okay, cute. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Today's my birthday. Oh, that's a good idea. Is that, and it's free? There's no cost?
Yep. I don't know if it's going to stay free. I have no clue. I'm just telling you, this is what I did, and I didn't have to pay, didn't have to sign up.
That's a really really good. I like to put. I got to remember that. We should put that in. I'm gonna put that in the newsletter. That's cool. Thanks, Bob. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we were talking about this before. I'm addicted to robotic vacuums, so I have a whole bunch of them. And I'm looking for a new one. It's been about a year since I bought one, and I'm getting itchy feet. And it is like absolutely crazy, the technology that's going into these now. And this is one in which this is one in which the if once the mop mops over like a bad stain, then it runs 140-degree water through the mop to clean it before it continues on. And it does that right in the now which one? Let me just go and see who was this. Who was this that Dbot? It was Dbot was the one that this is Dbot's vacuum. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, just to let everyone know, if you're following vacuums, is that there is like an explosion of companies producing these now, and the features are crazy and the prices are just falling out of the sky. So there's some really great deals on vacuums. So I just want to, the reason I haven't bought one already is because the deals get better and better and the features get better and better. So I haven't decided which one I'm going to get yet. But anyway, just let you know, there'll be more videos on vacuums coming up. So this is very interesting. Did you guys see this article?
Which article?
This is, can you not see? This is Google Pixel phones can now take timed photos when you raise your hand or palm. So this is going to be a new feature. It's not available yet, but will be coming out in the next few months. And so they're trying to promote, of course, the new Google phones. So if you stand, if we all wanted to take a picture together, we all get together and put it on your phone on a tripod, and you stand there. And if I hold my hand up, put the palm up like this, it will start the timer to count down rather than having to go up to the phone and click the button and then come back. You just hold your palm up like this and it will start the timer. Isn't that cool?
Ron, I have a wristwatch.
Oh yeah, you can do it that way. Yeah.
I just wiggle my wrist and then it takes the picture.
Right. That's yes. If you had the watch, right? But
yes.
So this is only for Pixel phones. This is going to be built in. This is going to be a cool feature. They're trying to get a one-upmanship on iPhones. So anyway. And this is another one I was trying. This is very interesting. Very interesting.
Can you make that bigger at all?
I can try that. The problem is, let's see.
I see it very big.
Is that okay now,
yep.
Guys? Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. So Google says lens image search can now identify skin conditions. Now, I was playing with this before the show today, and I'm not sure if I've got the update, but here's the deal on this, is that you will be able to use Google Lens. This is a medical thing. And as you know, I'm a retired physician, so this is cool. This is interesting stuff. Because people always have moles and they have skin conditions and they have things on their skin that they're concerned about. So you'll be able to take Google Lens and put it over the skin condition you're concerned about, whether it's a mole or whatever, and click on that, and it will take a picture and it'll do a search, and it will analyze and tell you, is it good, bad, what's your best guess? Now, this has actually been available in medicine for quite some time. The ability to actually do a digital image and search this, dermatologists use this all the time. So that the behind the scenes stuff has been there for quite a while. But this is now going to be available for everybody with Google Lens. And I think this is a big deal because you know how many people have moles and how many people have things that they want to find out about and whether they're serious or not. So this is going to raise awareness and allow people more access to maybe picking up some bad moles and skin cancers, right? So I think this is really good. Now, if you are watching this, if you are like, I'm in Canada, I don't think I tried it this morning. I took a picture of a mole I had, and it just went out and compared it to other images of skin. It didn't actually analyze it and tell me anything. So I'm assuming this hasn't come yet, or maybe they're slow rolling it out. But this was in the news this morning from The Verge.
And just be careful when you're doing a lot of these kind of things, that don't forget you probably have your camera set to send everything to Google Photos, and pretty much anyone can take a look at them. So you might want to remember that and maybe either not let them go up there or delete them right away from the
Right.
Google
Particularly if
Photos.
you're taking pictures of moles in very sensitive areas, right?
Absolutely.
That's true. That's true.
Ron, to another question for you is that apps like this, does this encourage self-diagnosis?
Well, there's that. Everyone is worried about is there a negative aspect to this? And I guess one of the things would be you take a picture of a mole and it says it's fine and it isn't, right? And should you have gone to see a dermatologist and find out if that mole, and you can certainly make that argument, but the problem is there's like billions and billions of moles than people have in the United States and Canada, and we only have so many dermatologists, right? So somehow we have to raise awareness to trying to find, bad things, right? And skin cancer is common and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's probably a good thing. I think it's a good thing. It may offer some reassurance to stuff that's pretty benign, and then it could. I haven't seen this work yet, so I don't know yet, but I think it's a good thing. And a follow-up to this article. This is great. Did you guys see this article? This was AI. So you guys are always talking about AI, right? Huey and Bob are always into AI. So you can try clothes on now, right? So you go to Google and you're going to do shopping and you think, gee, how does that sweater look on me? Well, now AI will take that sweater and put it on you, right? And you can have a look and see how you look. Isn't that cool? I thought that's
Like
great.
that.
Yeah, this is from identifying skin to trying on clothes virtually. So you'll be able to try on Google's has it now, so you can try on virtual clothes.
But it still won't tell you whether it actually fits until you try it
That's
on.
true. That's
Right.
true. But you can tell if you sort of like it or not. So
Yeah.
so I thought that's pretty cool. Good application.
I have a comment on this, but go on and say something.
So this was sort of an unusual. What I've talked about in the past, and I've done a lot of videos about this, so I'm not going to go on and on about it. But one of the big features, and probably I think personally the most important feature of a watch when it's monitoring your health is, particularly as a senior, is to monitor your heart for atrial fibrillation and see if there's any periods of atrial fibrillation. And Fitbit does that. The iPhone does that. Google's watch does that. And I was sure that the Galaxy Watch did that, but apparently not. At least it says now that this is now available and you can turn this on your Galaxy Watch, which means that your Galaxy Watch is going to monitor doesn't do it 24/7. It picks times in the day, mostly at night, where it actually watches your heartbeat and will tell you if you have any evidence of atrial fibrillation. Now, why is that important? Because atrial fibrillation is a common cause of stroke, right? And if you and people often don't have symptoms, end up with a stroke, and then find out the reason they had the stroke is because they had periods of atrial fibrillation. So you want to know, and it's really common in seniors, and it goes up with age. So the likelihood of you getting atrial fibrillation as you get older goes up exponentially with age. So it's a super important thing. And
Can
so
I ask you a question, Ron?
Yeah.
Okay. It can tell you if you're going to have a stroke. Does that also apply to having an aneurysm?
No. And it doesn't tell you if you're going to have a stroke. It only tells you if you have periods of atrial fibrillation. That's up to your doctor to decide that. But it just tells you if you do or you don't. And so I was surprised, Bill, that I thought this had it. I thought
mine does. That's what I was going to say. My watch does. I put my finger on the top button, and it measures my heartbeat.
No. This is different. This is where it's measuring. It's measuring for this specific condition called atrial fibrillation, and it'll do this in the background. And you just have to have the app turned on, and then it will notify you in the notifications, and it'll say, "Hey, Bill, you have periods of atrial fibrillation. You should see your doctor." Okay, and that's what. Mhm.
I do have that problem.
Right.
But I was thinking that you see that button that's there at the top? I
Right.
I pressed that and I've been able to put my finger there and it does a measurement.
It does your ECG. It'll do an ECG. But
Okay,
that's not.
but that's not the same thing as that picture.
So what's happening is if you do an ECG, the ECG will tell you if you have atrial fibrillation or not, right? But
Yeah.
that's right now when you put your finger on there. But what happens like through the rest of the day when you're not?
Oh,
So this is continually monitoring you in the background, right? It's continually monitoring your heart and it doesn't do it 24/7. It's not a continuous. They do periods of time, and the reason for that is that it's hard for these sensors on the back of your wrist to pick this up, right? So the best time is at night when you're resting and the watch, and that's another important thing about all these watches is wearing them at night, because a lot of the measurements and the sensory measurements that we do occur at night. And so it's important, if you are going to use these watches, is that you wear them, you don't put them on
then
the table at night, and take them off, because that's when they do this mostly. All right.
I've been wearing mine at night.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing I was going to say, I have another app on my phone that supposedly measures ECG, and that's the one where sometimes it will not. The watch is supposed to be tied to the watch, but it won't. It says put my finger on the back of the phone, and
Right.
that's the one that burns.
Right. Let's move on, because we got to
All
get.
right, sorry.
We got a whole bunch of articles to go through. This was just an article that I put up this morning. It's all about Amazon's new service that's coming next year. So it's just a reference article. It's there.
Just about that article.
Yeah.
Not only does Amazon deny it, so does each of the big phone services.
Yep.
Oh,
They're all denying it. So there
we've
may
talked
not
about
be any
this
truth
before.
to it.
Yep.
Yep.
Correct.
All right. Coming down just before we come to this article, this was an article that came out this morning. And Norway, which reveals a design for an all-electric seaplane, and they've got this all set up now. And there's a consortium going to build this, and they're going to initially fly it in Norway, and it's going to be an all-electric. It's going to be an all-electric seaplane. Now you're going to say, well, so what? Well, this is a big deal, all right. But what I wanted to show you is this article about Harbor Air. Now, Harbor Air is out of Vancouver, right? And they fly in right to my house here, right? They fly all over. I think they have one of the largest float plane operations in the world, right? Because there's a lot of water around here and a lot of float planes flying around. They have converted a number of these de Havilland planes now to be electric, and they've been doing this now for over a year, and they're actually flying float electric planes. Now, you guys probably didn't know that, but yes, they are flying electric planes, and these are the old de Havilland planes that they've converted, and they're shorter trips, and they're still in the test phases, but they're actually doing that. But these are old planes. So the cool part about this is these are new planes. This is going to be a new prototype that's going to be coming out, and this is out of Norway. And I thought that was sort of interesting.
I wonder
mean,
what
what
they're
happened-
compensating for the battery weight.
Well, I think that's right, because the whole bottom of this plane, I think there's how many tons of batteries in here. It's all part that I guess it would be really a lightweight plane, because you have to compensate for that, for the weight. There's a lot of weight in the bottom of those planes for the batteries.
I thought
And how
they just
long
had
can they stay in the air?
Well, the article talks about that. These planes are typically used for short hauls. I mean, they're not going to be going long distances, but they're made for short commuter. See, Norway has the same problem we have. There's all sorts of fjords and inlets and small communities, and they need to commute to all these different places, right? So this is the type of thing that it would be used for. If you can see, this is like a flying boat design, because this is going to be landing in the water for small communities. That Norway's got lots of those.
Isn't there a problem with the water and the batteries?
Well, they talked about that in the article, and that's right, because salt water and batteries, you think, oh, wow. But that's part of the technology that they're developing in this. So I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I thought that line at the bottom was just a long electrical cord.
Yeah, that's a highway. You thought that was a cord.
Oh, yeah.
Ron,
Yeah.
Ron, the Amazon one. This is not the same one that we
Can I
talked
call
about.
you back?
This has to do with Amazon Kyber.
Oh,
Right.
I'll talk to you later.
I'll call you back.
Right. That's the Kuiper that is
Right.
that's coming out. But this is a real thing that's happening, and this lists all the production schedule, it lists costs and what's going to happen, and so on and so forth. And I don't want to go through the whole article right now. I put it up as a reference article that you can. Again, a lot of the articles that we put up here are so you can come back and you can and look at them. We already talked about the close. This is generative AI is powering Google's belated entry into virtual clothing try-on. So that I think is cool. This is big. Now this was a big announcement this morning. There wasn't an article, there wasn't an image to put on this, but here's the deal. This is a big deal. The EU wants to break up Google's ad tech business. 2 years after opening a probe into whether Google unlawfully boosted its own ad tech over others, the EU finally slapped the company with a formal antitrust complaint yesterday, accusing it of abusing its position. The complaint is a dozy. It suggests that Google will likely need to sell off parts of its business to resolve inherent conflicts of interest. So, as you all know, Google is an ad company, and basically that's how it makes all its money. This is a big deal for Google. So, interesting story to follow.
If I was Google, I'd get the heck out of the EU.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about this stuff.
It's interesting. Huey, how to use PowerPoint as... Oh, that's interesting. As a teleprompter.
I've not tried this. I just saw it this morning or last night, and I'm going to have to try it, but I thought I'd share it with everybody.
Well, that's cool. We should probably, are there any comments that we should view before we're about halfway through our...
Let me go back and
Huey, is that with PowerPoint, or do you need any hardware for that, or it just works with...
No, just in PowerPoint.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to try that. Huh.
Let's see here. Where are we? Talk for a minute while I go through these to see if...
All right.
Basically, when I create my security news roundup, I'm using PowerPoint in Zoom, more or less, like a teleprompter.
You haven't seen that teleprompter feature, Bob?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I will also be looking at it.
Right. RCS is what Google has used. That's right. Or am I wrong? No, you're right. Yeah. That's right. Geeks in here, they are private only unless you share. Mm-hmm. Mike Hungerman, I just tried using Google Lens on my Pixel 6a. It did come up with 3 possibilities. Now I have to use Bard to figure out what they may be. I love it. Harper, I guess I'm not. Hi, guys. I don't know if I know you. Sorry. Hi, guys. I don't know if you know her, but my grandma is Ivana. Oh, yeah, Ivana. She goes to most of your meetings. I have a question. Can you give her a shout out through?
No. Yeah. So shout out to Ivana if she's watching.
Okay. Welcome. Yes.
And welcome to her.
Ivana, she always watches our show. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Mike says 8 choices result in 7 non-cancerous, but 1 potential. Not really a help, as I needed to see a dermatologist anyway. Well, now I don't know if that's the new feature that actually analyzed it. I know it will be interesting, Mike. I'll talk to you later about that, but it'll be interesting. I know mine does that. It brought up some choices, but did it actually analyze the skin on lesion on your arm or wherever? Anyway, I wonder if we have the same, because mine doesn't do that. So it may just be an update. Okay. Alaska Airlines is also working with them. Yep, I bet. Electric, yeah. Mike Lehman, have any of you looked into the next generation of smartwatches that do non-invasive blood
Yes,
blood
we
glucose
have.
monitoring? I currently use Freestyle Libre 2 sensor that causes the continuous monitoring. Mike, I'm sorry, we Bob and Mike Ungerman both bought some watches from China that are not FDA approved, and they've been testing them out with their blood sugars. And the reason I'm laughing is because we spent in our pre-show warm-up, they were telling me all about their trials and tribulations with these watches. So it's sort of fun. But Mike, to answer your questions, there's no FDA approved reliable sensors that work in watches yet that I know of in the United States. There are
And the
some
non-approved ones are so far off that
yeah, that's
they're not
right.
worth using. Get turned off, not used at all.
Right. So far, we're
other problems.
Mike. I said to Bob, we should do. We'll do a little talk about this on our Monday show in some of the upcoming sessions. This is a very interesting topic and lots to talk about on that. Kicks under long extension cords. That's right. Long extension cords. Sally said, Ivana, are you okay? Hopefully she is.
Yeah, hopefully she is.
Yeah. Mike says, soon there will be salt chemistry in the batteries, so low possibility of fires when it gets into production. There you go.
Okay.
Maybe they'll use seawater to recharge them.
That's it.
That's it. Good. Okay. So I'm really interested in this. I'm going to have a look. Is this an update in the PowerPoint? So it'd be an update in the PowerPoint software?
I don't think it's even that. I think it's just I tells you how to do it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's cool. Your topic?
Yes, Logitech is retiring the blue microphone. I have one. That's what I'm using. Is the Blue Yeti. And they Logitech bought them a few years ago, and they're going to stop using the brand and those mics. They also have another company, or it was theirs, I don't remember which, of microphones, and they're going to be featuring those instead.
Interesting. All right. It's been around a long time. I remember the Blue Yeti was my first microphone. Yes, Huey, my favorite kitchen cooking appliance. This is a terrible, terrible thing that happens.
Yeah, it's the parent company of Instant Pot. It has filed for bankruptcy, but it doesn't mean they're going out of business. They're just going to try to restructure their finances.
I use my Instapot almost every day.
I kind of figured there's probably several in our audience that do, and I figured you had one, and so I went ahead and posted this article for that reason.
Yes, I think I posted it earlier as well. It's
did you? Okay.
So I think that it will continue on in some form. So it's too popular not to continue.
Yeah.
Huey.
Yeah, Amazon's got a sale right now. The Echo Dot. I shouldn't say that too loud because that's what I call the one in my bedroom here. Comes with a smart plug for less than the Dot itself. It's $28 for the bundle, and apparently it's on sale at Amazon.
Okie doke.
Also, you can use those as a mesh router too. They have software in it.
That's right. Now, I think that, Bill, I would be cautious about that in that there are many different versions of this, and this is probably the one with the latest version. And if this is on sale, you want to make sure you're using the if it's on sale, it may not be the latest version, right?
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I believe it is though.
Okay. Because that's a sneaky one with Amazon. When you go on Amazon, you look at these devices, there are a wide discrepancy in prices, but they've made like 5 different versions of them. So you have to know which version you're getting. That's the important one. And it's not always easy.
I did see that an article where they're trying to guess when the Prime Day will be, but it should be coming up, and they usually announce it at the end of June when it's going to be.
Right. It's usually, I think it isn't it, Huey, isn't it usually in July?
Yeah, that's why they announce it usually the end of June.
Bill James.
Well, I thought this interesting because I have Chat GPT on my Android.
Mm-hmm.
And well, it's actually part of Edge because I have an Edge on there, so I can use Chat GPT. But it's surprising that they would have a totally different version for iOS.
But the thing that's different, Bill, is that this is an app, right? This is the Chat GPT iOS app is better than the website. So what you're using on your Android phone
Right.
is the
Yeah,
website, where
it's
this
the
is the
website
app.
version. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So we don't have an app on
for
the
Android,
Android. So I don't know. I mean, have you tried it? Huey, I guess you've got an iPhone. Have you tried it on? You haven't tried the app? Okay. So it's interesting. If anyone has an iPhone and you've got the Chat GPT app on there, if you
well,
could put in the comments.
they list a number of changes. One is that they have voice input,
Mhm.
even though you can use that in the Windows version. It's something called Whisper.
Right.
Um, and they have a better user interface and accessibility.
Mhm.
Um, you can change your preferred language for speech.
Mhm. All right. Well,
Just a number of things.
yeah. All right. You also talk. When was AI first discovered?
I thought that was it. I really like history, so it was interesting to read this article, and um, actually it goes back. They trace it back to the 1300s.
Oh, really?
It says in 1305, theologian and Catalan mystic Ramon Leo wrote Ars Magna in the 1300s. It details mechanical techniques for logical interreligious dialogues.
I'll be
So,
darned.
and they trace the history from 1305 up through uh, present day.
Right.
Uh, So it's kind of interesting to just take a look at that and see
Yeah.
that.
And
But
that's in the article, so that would be a good
that's a
reference.
article, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So as everything is, it says nothing really actually new on the planet.
All right. And then 4 ways.
Yeah, Ron. Before you go there, I'd like to go back to the Chat GPT, but it's not really Chat GPT. It's owned by OpenAI, and
Right.
OpenAI allows some of the other services and tools that are out there to use them, and they have what they call an API that you can plug into, or the company can plug into, and then you pay for the usage of OpenAI. And I did that with a couple of the tools, and I got my first bill from them for last month, and it was paid for because I have it set up with my credit card. It was 76 cents.
Oh, can you afford that?
I hope so. I have a limit of $10, and I said, and at $5, it's supposed to give me a warning. But some of these things, yeah, some of these things when I do them, it charges me a penny. So when I do some of the pictures at one of the sites, so there's ways that you can pay for some of these things without having to pay $50 a month.
Bill, I'll let you have since you're our guest today, I'll give you the last article today.
For the Cortana,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize where Cortana is still in Windows 11, even though they're phasing it out. But because of AI, Cortana is taking a hit. Microsoft has really never been too successful with some of their initiatives. They're usually late in the game, and then other uh, uh, beat them out, and so they have to give up the ship. But this time, I think because they've taken an interest in AI, they're kind of ahead of the deal with OpenAI. So it looks like Cortana is going to come to, as we know it, an end, but it's still going to be used in some instances. So I thought this article was interesting. In the fact that Microsoft is kind of getting ahead of the game with AI, and they're replacing Cortana in as a result of that.
Yeah, Leo Laporte and Paul Thurrott had a long discussion on Windows Weekly this past week about this and about Cortana and some of the reasons why it just didn't make it.
No, surprising, because if they were doing it as a competition with Siri and some of the other assistants, and for some reason Cortana just did not make it.
Huey, any final comments in our section that we need to deal with? It's top of the hour. We've got to go, you guys. Another week, another show.
Yeah, let's quickly go through these.
Geek says, I have 2 Instapots. I do too. Yes, I do too. Mike Ungerman, on the Christian Broadcasting Network, a 5-minute article covered ChatGPT conducting a sermon at a Sunday service. Already.
I saw that.
I did too. I saw the article.
I got that.
Oh, man. Geeks on Tour. Microsoft is a major investor in ChatGPT. It is. Yeah. Geeks on Tour, OpenAI. Olive Cousin. Hey, Jolin, are you going to remind everyone to click the like or subscribe, or like or 6 more? Like or subscribe. Good idea. Yep. If you click that, that's always great for us. Thank you.
And that's it. Let's see. I got to shut that off. Let's see. Don't.
Yeah, we got them all. And Jolin.
Yep.
Hey. Okay, great. We've covered everything. And it's so I want to thank everyone for coming. We had a great time today, Bill. Thank you for coming again.
Oh, I always enjoy.
We had a good time, and thank you everyone who's listening to us. Thank you so much for coming. It's your enthusiasm and strong support that keeps us going. Tech news is always fun, and we'll be back next week with more tech news. Jolin says, thanks for a great show. Well, thank you, Jolin, again for listening. We'll be back next week with more tech news, but don't forget Monday show, right? The Monday show that's coming up, our Tech for Senior Monday show. I have no idea what we're going to talk about because I won't be there. I am on holidays for 2 weeks. And of course, Huey Popluck will be running the show. I know he's going to do a great job. He's got lots of things, exciting things planned for you. So come and support Huey for the next 2 weeks. I'll be back. I have a big family commitment coming. So they're arriving on Sunday, and that's what I've been spending all my time getting organized for. So we will see everyone back again. I'll be at the show next Thursday. So I'll certainly.
And you're going to start the meeting on Monday. Then you'll disappear. Yeah,
I will. I got to be cooking bacon and eggs. All right. Thanks everyone
for us. Okay.
Yeah,
Bye, everybody. Bye.